everyone, this is Prerona from AIIMS Deoghar, and you are watching the Essential series where we'll be discussing the books which I had used for first year. So first of all, what I want to tell all of you is that none of this is sponsored and I'm just sharing my experience of first year. So this could be kind of subjective because I'll be sharing the books which I have read and benefited from and what I feel is necessary for first year. Okay, so let us come to anatomy first. So anatomy is the most vast subject in first year, and this might feel difficult, but once you get the hang of it, understand it, and start enjoying it, becomes easy. So anatomy can be broadly divided into general anatomy and then gross anatomy, and we have histology, embryology, neuroanatomy, and then the practical aspect where we deal with the dissections. Okay, so let us first come to general anatomy. Now, general anatomy is the base of anatomy, that is, you get the basic concepts, that is linking with whatever you have read in class 11-12 with that what you are going to read in MBBS. So here you just need to get the basics strong, try to understand every information, but in case you are not getting it to the mark, not getting everything clear, there is nothing to stress out, because you will eventually learn it. Like, you will eventually get the concepts very strong when you will be reading the next parts. Okay, so read it like an enjoyment, read it like a story, try to build your concepts so that when you read further it will help you. Okay, now for this, the books is we have Vishram Singh and B.D. Chaurasia. Personally, I have read Vishram Singh. B.D. Chaurasia, okay, I have read from my friends, and what I felt is that both books are equally good. You can prefer whichever is taught in your college, because that kind of will help you relate, because initially we are a bit we should be a bit in line with what the college teaches. So both are good, B.D. Chaurasia or I have this General Anatomy of Vishram Singh. This is the book which I have used, so you can read either of these. Coming to gross anatomy also has two standard sets. One is your B.D. Chaurasia and another is your Vishram Singh. You can prefer either of these, both books are equally good. But having compared both of these, I will say one thing, that I felt that the text is more organized and more appealing to me in Vishram Singh, but the diagrams looked more copyable in the exam in B.D. Chaurasia. That is more diagrammatic, easy for writing your exams. So you can prefer either of these. Nowadays the PDFs are easily available, so initially you can just read both of them, one chapter from both of them, and compare to see which one suits you best. Either of these two books are good. This you can use as your textbook, that is the book which you will follow for your class study and in general exams, because of course gold standard books are there, but they are not suitable for your exams, because it becomes very vast, and when exams come it is difficult to cover the entire syllabus. So these books will help you there writing your exams. Okay, so now coming to the gold standard book for anatomy, we have Gray's Anatomy for students. Now this is one thing, we have two versions. One is the international version, another one is the one for students. The students version is enough for MBBS, and this is kind of not a necessary book. You don't need it to pass your exams, but if you are very interested in anatomy and you want to get your concepts very strong and you have a lot of time, you want to know more than what is written in your BDC and Vishram Singh, then you can definitely go for it. If you have the interest and the passion to read, please go for it. It's a very good book. Alright, so now having done with the general and gross anatomy, let us move on to histology. So for histology, we were given manuals from our department of anatomy, and that contained all the information on the slides, and we were just required to draw the diagrams of the slides, whatever we saw in the microscope. So for that, our go-to book was Balakrishnan. We had kept the PDF, and we used to make the diagrams from there. The diagrams given there is precise and pretty convenient, so you can also keep the PDF and take your diagrams from there. As far as information, detailing and reading is concerned in histology, you can read this book, Inderbir Singh's Textbook of Human Histology. We had read this, and this is a pretty good book with a lot of information, whatever is necessary for your MBBS level. And then coming to this, one thing which I will tell you, an advice, that is for histology, whenever you go to class, try to read whatever is being scheduled for the next class one day before, so that you know what you are supposed to see in the slide. Because when we are given slides and we see with them for the first time, all we see is pink and blue and we understand nothing. So once you know what you are supposed to see, it becomes a lot easier, and that is how we identify the slides ultimately. Initially histology might seem very tedious, but it will slowly when you get the hang of it, when you learn how to identify the cells and tissues, then it will become much easier, so you don't have to worry. Okay, all right. Now coming to embryology. Embryology is kind of dreaded, not liked, and therefore not read, but it is very interesting. So once you get the interest, once you understand, it is an awesome subject, part of a subject. Okay, so for embryology, the book which we read in general was this, again, in the B. Singh's Human Embryology. And this book is pretty good for your learning, understanding, and exam purposes. Now, the standard book for this is Langman's Embryology. This book is not really necessary for your MBBS level. This is a very good book. If you want to get your concepts right and strong with the gold standard book, you can definitely go for this book. We use this primarily for the diagrams, because the diagrams in our spotters were directly from this book, so we needed this for that purpose. But if you are interested, please go for it. If you are not very much interested, or you don't get that much of time, then you don't need to delve into this. Personally, I felt the molecular genetics in this book a bit difficult to understand, so I really stick to the Inderbir Singh's embryology. So now let us come into the neuroanatomy part. For neuroanatomy, I had read this book, Textbook of Clinical Neuroanatomy by Vishram Singh, and this is a pretty good book, and it has enough information that is needed for your exam purpose. The gold standard book in neuroanatomy is Snell's Neuroanatomy, but I personally did not read it because I did not have the time. Ultimately, things get very vast, and ultimately you need to prepare for your professionals or medical board exams. So this book is enough for understanding and getting all the concepts right. And I had also seen the videos of Ashwini sir, Dr. Ashwini Kumar sir. I liked his note taking technique a lot, and it helped me a lot during my exams. So yeah, you can prefer whatever platform you are studying from, if it suits you. Yeah, that is enough and all about neuroanatomy. So now let us move on to the atlas. I had personally used the Netter's Atlas of Human Anatomy. This one. This is a good book with a lot of pictures for better understanding of your gross anatomy as well as your dissection practical part. But this is not a dissector, okay? So you can have this Netter's Atlas, or you can have your themes Atlas. Either of these two. Both have excellent photographs and both are good. Now in the practical part, you need to have a dissector. We had used the Cunningham's Manual of Practical Anatomy. That has 3 parts. One is for the upper limbs and lower limbs, one is for your thorax and abdomen, and we have another part for the head, neck and brain. So this series we had used, and it is a very good dissector. So this was enough for the practical classes as far as that is concerned. And try to focus on the dissection, try to understand how each layer is being removed, and as much as you are involved in it, you will learn better. So that is all about anatomy in general. Now coming to your exam preparation. So for that we need special books for revision, because textbooks are really very vast and difficult to revise at the end moment. So for that I had used this series, Selective Anatomy, Prep Manual for Undergraduates by Vishram Singh. So this comes in 2 volumes, and you have to read both. Okay, so this was pretty good. And as for neuroanatomy and histology and embryology, you can just refer to the general books in their Singh and neuroanatomy Vishram Singh. That will be enough to cover. Now one thing is that a lot of people tend to read the selective anatomy as their textbook and try to skip the textbook part, reading the theory. But please don't do that. That is definitely not at all advisable. Please don't do that. It will really ruin your concepts, and you're going to regret later on. Read this as an exam manual. Read this during the time of your exam. After you have read the theory, use this for revision. This has question answer format. It will be easy to revise and remember stuff. It also has diagrams you can refer to and try to copy them in the exam, because if you make diagrams, that definitely increases your chances of getting more marks. But please don't use this as a textbook. So that is all about anatomy. Now let us move on to physiology. First thing I want to tell you is that physiology is a very important subject, and the more you understand physiology, the easier it will be to understand further subjects, because physiology is what teaches you the normal mechanisms of the body. So once you get the normal, the understanding the abnormal, that is the diseased conditions, becomes much easier. So So this is the base for your future subjects, so try to learn it as much as possible, as well as possible. Now physiology as subject can be divided into two broad categories. One is the theory and one is the practical, so we'll be taking these two parts separately. Coming to the theory part, the standard book which I also used as my textbook was Guyton and Hall. Now please note, this is the South Asia edition which I had used, because the international edition is very vast and kind of difficult to complete, and the South Asia edition is enough for your MBBS level. So this is an extremely good book which made me fall in love with physiology, and also get the highest marks in my batch in the final exams of first year, and even earn a distinction in the subject. So this is an extremely good book, and everything about this book is extremely good only until it comes down to writing exam answers, because in this book everything is given like a story, so it is very interesting to read, very nice to understand, and very easy to grasp the concepts, but the things are not point wise, so it becomes difficult when you're writing answers in the exam. So there is a solution for that as well. We have these books by Dr. A.K. Jain, textbook of physiology part 1 and part 2. Okay, so you can read these for your exam purpose. Now the gold standard in physiology is the book by Ganong's Review of Medical Physiology, but this is a very standard book and it is not for everyone. Personally, having read this book, I felt that you need a basic knowledge before you can read this book thoroughly, nicely, and understand the concepts without wasting a lot of time. So if you need basic knowledge, then Guyton and Hall and A.K. Jain is enough. But if you want to delve into the depths and learn more than basic knowledge, reading and enjoying, then it's okay. You can go for Ganong. It's a very good book as such. So now an extremely good book for exam preparation in physiology is this book called Joshi's Physiology Prep Manual for Undergraduates by V.D. Joshi and Sadhna Joshi. So this book is extremely good. It has covered almost all the points which are necessary for your exams in question answer format, which makes it even more easier to approach. But it is always better if you have read the concepts from your textbook, because it makes it easier to grasp whatever is written. Just cramming up information will make things difficult to retain and write in the exam. So it's always better if you have read your textbooks. Now coming to the practical in physiology, we had the manual from the department, which was enough regarding the experiments and procedures and practical, but as far as concepts and a bit of detailing, theory, viva questions and all are concerned, we had this book called Textbook of Practical Physiology by G.K. Pal, and this is a pretty good book with all detailing is enough for the understanding of the experiments and basic concepts and everything needed for your viva. But I will suggest one thing, that kindly try to read this book one day before you are going for your practicals, because if you know the procedure, if you know what to do, if you know the underlying concept, it automatically becomes easier to understand the experiment and grasp what is being taught in class. So that sums up physiology, which was my favorite subject in first year, and it still continues to be one of my most favorite subjects. So we'll now move on to biochemistry. So in biochemistry, the gold standard book is Harper's Illustrated Biochemistry. This is an extremely good book, and it has got a lot of concepts and details, and it is a very good book for biochemistry. But this book is not for everyone, because it can be a bit difficult to read considering the amount of time we have. Okay, because reading this is a bit difficult, a bit cumbersome. So if you find it difficult to read Harper, you can refer to Vasudevan, biochemistry, textbook of biochemistry for medical students by Vasudevan. This is also a very good book, and it has got things organized and in an exam oriented approach, which will make it easier to approach it in the exams, and it also contains check boxes which contains the important information, so it is easier to approach during the exams. Now, having read Lippincott, I found the charts and chapter summary from Lippincott kind of very appealing, which made it which can be a bit exam oriented, where we are required to write it point wise or chart wise. So you can consider keeping the PDF form of Lippincott and just referring it for revision. Now another book is there which is also easy to understand, that is Satyanarayan, Now personally I haven't read this book, but you will find a lot of reviews on this book also from my batchmates and friends. They also say that it is an easy to understand book, so that can also be a go-to book for you. Now for biochemistry, personally I was not able to complete all the chapters from Harper and Vasudevan, so at the end I had some chapters left, and for that I had referred to Dr. Jambulkar sir's notes. They were pretty good to cover the end moment parts. I had not read all the parts from his notes, but the chapters which I had read, they were pretty good, so you can refer to them as a exam preparatory manual or as a go-to notes in case you are not able to finish it from your textbooks. Now for MCQs, you can refer to a very standard MCQ book, that is by Rebecca James. For practical purpose, I did not buy any book separately. I had my college manual, which was pretty good enough details, and the theory from the textbooks was also enough for addressing the viva questions and the concepts. So that is all about biochemistry in particular and first year in general. I hope this will help you narrow down your choices and choose what is best for you. Another tip which I want to give for first year students is try to grasp as much as possible in class. Try to focus in class so that it becomes easier for you when you are revising it yourself or reading from the book. So once again, I welcome you all to this noble profession and also to my channel. If you have any doubts regarding anything, please feel free to share them. The comment section is open for you. And do not forget to like, share, subscribe for more such content. Your support is my inspiration. So all the best and stay tuned. Bye.